Hi everyone, welcome to the stream. Happy Friday. We are here for another day of Stardew with the purple group. We have two groups ongoing playing Stardew. I don't know how many people will be attending tonight due to it being a holiday weekend here in the US, so things are kind of crazy. So tonight we're going to start off with the slime goop redemption that we were supposed to do a while back. You guys may remember. St. Jude donated slime, so we're gonna look at playing with these and see what this mess is about. I'm sure it feels gross and nasty and crazy, but I'm gonna pick one, an open one, and I'll probably just like totally give the other one away. It's like, do we want galaxy or mermaid? I kind of think I want to do the mermaid one. So it's got little seashells in it and little pearls. You can try it, see what it looks like. So I don't know what exactly games or things you're supposed to, goals or that you're supposed to do with these. Hi, Momo! You're not asleep yet. Poor Momo. Momo, you were trying to sleep earlier, right? Poor thing. I should be. Well, I appreciate you being here. You are more than welcome to stay and hang out. Preparing D&D but can't play, sadly. No! I also have Michigan here with me. He's gonna play some Stardew. He's here early, so that's awesome. I can't play Stardew. I mean, yeah, I know. It's okay. It's okay. I think everybody's out for various reasons tonight, so I don't know how much Stardew we'll actually be playing. It depends. I'm gonna play with some slime and give people time to show up, and we'll see. If nobody's able to play tonight, it's cool. Michigan! 5 stream streak. Dang. Oh, I have Smurgle here too. They'll catch guys. If you catch Pokemon. Smurgle. Alright, let me grab Michigan a little bit. So he's my co-pilot today. Welcome, co-pilot Michigan. Welcome to the stream. You were live. Oh, I unmuted you, but
No, sorry.
There we go.
We're going into that mountain. Sorry, I was.
Oh, you're in the tunnel. Oh, okay. So they'll let you buy things, Momo? Alright, we're gonna change Mies real quick. I'm gonna scoot over. And then here's my bowl. So you guys can see what we got going on here with this weird slime stuff. Okay. Yeah. I'm opening it. And I think it's like individual containers and stuff. So we're gonna like be careful and try not to like. So this is like, whoa, no, I opened it in the wrong direction. Don't do what I do. Don't do what I do. Don't do what I do. Oh my god. I did this all upside down. Now they're all in the bowl. Welcome, Shane. Welcome. Oh, we're making a mess already if you're just joining. Turn out the music here. Well, that's weird. I can't even hear the music, but I can totally hear it. Oh, I'll turn it back up for you guys. Glitter rare. These are beads. Actually, there's like little lids here for them. But as you know, there's little lids. But I opened it upside down. So the lids were useless. The lids were useless. Wait, now we gotta pick them all out of the bowl. This makes me want popcorn, honestly, because that's kind of cool. It reminds me of the popcorn kernels in the bowl. Except for they don't bounce like that. Do you know beads bounce like that? It's going good. I don't know where that one went. That one escaped. It's gone forever. It is gone forever. God. But yeah, welcome to the stream. We're doing the slime thing as we wait for people to join, if they can join tonight. Because holidays, people are doing things. But look at these cute little shells. Little shells. Little mermaid shells. And then this is glitter. Yeah. This is all glitter. So that is going to be a hot mess in the slime. And the slime is glittery too, so... I don't know.
Oh, Kimono's getting slimed on stream.
Yeah, getting slimed on stream. Yeah, it is not biodegradable, is it? This is for... So this is a slime for a Save the Children.
No,
Yeah, here we go.
For the kids.
My gosh. Yeah. This is... I'm kind of glad I don't have my long nails at the moment, because this would be like all up under my nails, I'm sure.
You definitely have to take a shot off of all that like glitter in it.
I think I should take off my watch.
Well, probably.
I didn't want to let the lid go. No. And there's still stuff all in the lid. I wonder if you can, like, use the other part of it to get it out. I don't know. It's like... I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. It's like... It's kind of like strong. Like, not as wimpy as you would think it would be, or as thin. It's like, it fights back.
Well, yeah, it's not Play-Doh.
Trying to get it all out of the container.
It might actually attack you.
Yeah, I don't know. How are you supposed to get this out?
I don't know. I don't have the experience.
Alright, in the D&D theme, we see, yes. This is, what's left from the crazy tentacle monster. Yeah.
I'm afraid, to be honest.
But this is technically mermaid slime, so do with that what you will.
No.
Let's see, yeah, let's see if we can use the slime to pull the slime out of the container. I don't think that's working very well. Let's try. No, Michigan.
What? I was
You
saying that.
can't you rub? I think I accomplished getting more back in the lid than I did out. I mean, yeah, you can roll it into a ball, but
No,
it's
we're gonna get her fingerprint after this.
it's very independent slime. It doesn't want to like play nice. It's not like, see, look, it's like, Momo, this does not work. Rolling it back in there.
This looks like an alien.
Maybe it's the Florida climate, but acquiring all that back in there, I don't think that's good.
I'm surprised we don't have more viewers. Sorry.
You mean differently, like roll it like this.
That's sorry, my brain don't work.
No, I don't know. I'm rolling it, but it's like, leave the ball slime. Ah,
I blame Sean.
you mean roll this? You blame Sean? Oh God, are y'all messaging each other?
No, sorry, my brain don't work and it just doesn't. Sorry.
This is child's play now. Come on now.
I'm a child, so
I know. And this is an 18 plus community, so what can I say? Problems were created when St. Jude sent us slime.
Like, I'm trying to be PG as much as I can.
I know, it's hilarious.
I could be a
You're doing a good job. You're doing a good job. Ah! Kappa, it's fine, but it's slime. Like a backseat gamer. Backseat slime rancher? Yeah, where's my slime rancher peeps?
To be fair, I am a. Yeah. I see a
I
slime
feel like.
channel and I just start backseat game.
What if I could zoom in? So you guys can see it better. And then I felt like my camera is like at the wrong spot again. Like, my hands are sticky now. Can I be a kid and just wipe it on my clothes? You should make the title Fighting Slime, but not even open Stardew yet. Right?
Honestly, we're just gonna watch this for
2
hours.
See. Fighting Slime. Fighting slime. Then maybe Stardew.
That would be the proper.
See.
Shane, I thought that too, but since I'm here, I can't say anything. So.
Oh, let's see.
Myself.
Your hands are sticky after playing with slimy
No,
stuff.
I heard
right?
it, but I was trying to.
There. Okay. Alright, I gotta adjust my camera again. There. Maybe that'll be a better angle. Other than dumb text stuff everywhere. Let's see. Ah! Don't do that.
Honestly, I'm just here to watch a girl play with slime, so.
Michigan. It sounds so messed up.
No, that's what I'm.
Well, let's see. Alright, okay. Clickbait, right? Fighting slime, maybe Stardew later. Yeah. I still feel like the camera is at a weird angle. Yeah. I don't know. We're just gonna. See, as soon as I put my hands here, it's like the wrong angle. But down in the bowl, it's perfect. I need a cameraman who wants to help. And yes, I just wiped the slime on my clothes. Good job. I'm
like I said,
I'm embracing my childlike behavior. There we go. Now you can actually see what I'm doing.
Yeah, I have no comment.
Yes, slime at a weird angle. Guessing I can't apply. Not even. What?
Oh, this would be a perfect time for this.
Yeah, there you go. Face mask? Anyone?
No, my oils on my skin are fine.
I forgot this in my hair. Oh my god, could you imagine if I got this in my hair? It would never come out.
Imagine that in my beard. Hold on.
Put it in your hair, seems safe. I forgot you can do nicknames on Twitch now, guys. So like,
well, you can.
Momo's name for me is Clumsy Momoro. Ooh, well, no, it's not Twitch. I think it's just my OBS. But yeah, her name is Uwu. Uwu. So this is part of the fun. You're special. You apparently am.
Well, if you have any oils stuck in your pores, and you'll be good.
This is my mermaid fins, you know.
Oh, here first. She's a mermaid.
Barely heard the run. Sound alert is low. Probably because Discord peeps are loud.
What?
Okay. Try it again.
You're special.
That's louder. Okay. Like do the here, let's do the roar one. I'm just gonna
Kimono one huggles.
Tea! Thank you so much. I'm like, what's going on here? 22 months. Thank you, T. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I don't want the bot. Oh no. You do want to hug the bot. Slimy, realistic mer people from Harry Potter, of course. No, I would be like, you know, some anime mermaid. Who knows? You know, the one that lives with the octopi. Right, Momo? Yeah. But hi, T! Almost 2 years. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for the hype, Michigan. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Where people are so freaky. Yeah. I just love the meme that I'm sure you guys is like, it's like, okay, you got a starfish. There's this meme about mermaids, or The Little Mermaid, actually. I'm sure you guys have seen it, where it's like, okay, a starfish is like, just pretend my hand's a starfish and the mouth is right here. And she's got 2 starfish. You do the math. How are the starfish hanging on? Yeah. I'm like, yeah. Right? I'm like, no, thank you. Alright, we're gonna mix the other stuff in. I think we should mix the glitter in. Should we do the glitter first or last? Let's do the glitter last because it's gonna be so messy. I didn't see a real mermaid in Copenhagen. She didn't have that issue. I'm sure she didn't. Oh my god. She naked, yeah. Okay, we're gonna add the pearls. The slime sticks to everything. Oh, maybe now that the slime's heated up, it would work at removing from that container. Let's try this.
Run.
Oh, it's starting to work, Momo. It's starting to remove itself. It just was too cold, I think. It's too cold. It was too cold earlier. Okay, it's still not working as good in the lid because the lid's a lot, but yeah, it's, if the lid was warmer and the slime was warmer, it would work. So yeah. Okay. It's a bazillion degrees in Florida. Well, I have the air conditioning on. So yeah. Okay, now this looks like some kind of eggs and slime. I'm just like, yeah. Wet in Florida. That sounds like the title of some kind of show.
No, I'm just saying because it's very humid.
Okay, so yeah. There you go.
Yeah, you should get that checked out.
Yeah. Definitely got beads in it now. It almost
Sorry,
reminds me
think-
of like frog eggs or something, except for they're white, not black. If they were black, it would look like frog egg gook and frog eggs.
I'm not gonna lie, it's getting worse and worse. the feel of
It's
it.
the
sorry.
deeds kill it. Can't poop these though, poor frogs. Yep. They're special white frog eggs. There you go.
No, this is how Florida has alligators.
Maybe these are mermaid eggs. There you go, they're mermaid eggs. Now we know mermaids lay eggs. Okay.
Well, here first, guys.
Alright. Oh, it sounds like... It makes like party gas sounds. Popping sounds. Here we go.
Probably
See if
make
I can-
like
Fold it into itself, make like air bubbles inside,
well, yeah, it's gonna make a fart sound. Yeah.
so we can go. Can you hear that?
It doesn't sound good.
This is like ASMR slime for you guys. I was playing with slime. It's very sticky. My hands have like this coating all over them. There's like, you can't see it, but there's like this coating of like, I don't know, kind of oily stickiness feeling. Like a horrible skin lotion that's not a lotion.
Yeah, it's a very sticky lotion. Oh, lady.
Hi, Rain!
Hello.
Welcome to the stream. Welcome to our ASMR slime vision
Yeah,
stuff.
Yeah, kimono is very slimy. Yeah.
I haven't
I
even
hate the
opened
feeling of
to be honest.
greasy cats.
No, it's
I
just
Yes.
slime.
literally just got home.
I am
She's
playing with slime, look.
Yeah.
It wasn't like being
That
weird.
sounds disgusting, to be honest.
It is.
No, this actually scared me. I'm like, back off.
Unless it's lotion and lead. Yeah, this does not feel like lotion.
No, absolutely not. Slime is
It feels like fart noises.
Yeah, because the air.
Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty accurate description.
You're gonna have to wash your hands.
It feels like a wet fart. There you go.
That's absolutely the way to describe it. I can guarantee a wet fart is not that thick. I would know from experience.
It looks like you have very long nails. I was like,
I wouldn't touch those if I were you.
I wouldn't touch it.
Aw.
Mm.
What if they're this color? Is there this
Absolutely
color?
not. If
Go to
they're
the
that
doctor.
color, there's something
Well,
to be concerned about.
Yeah, I get it. Go to the doctor.
This feels like some wrongly 18
No,
plus
it-
stream.
No, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it basically is.
Like, trust me.
4
like,
minutes. Oh my god.
I don't know what to think.
Matches your nails nice? Yeah, even though I like pulled the plastic ones off because they had grown out too much and painted them myself, it still matches.
I have blue nails too. I did
Trying to
the
find the
blue
camera. Where I'm at. Over here, up here, there we go. Look at the bubbles.
It's gonna start farting.
Yeah. Squeeze!
Well, at least we can see your nails.
Right? This is a nail stream. That has nothing to do with the slime.
She's just saying pills.
There you go.
Nope.
Squeeze the life out of it. Do it!
Honestly, it looks like a galaxy. Like if you just.
Right? Ah! It's gonna get away. What happens if this ends up in my keyboard? Right?
It probably will clean out the dust, to be honest.
Yeah, probably.
If I can get it all out, because there's like a
Keyboards can
residue all
actually-
over my hands.
There is a little bit of residue, but it'll go away eventually. Gross.
It does look like a waterfall that has some rocks in it.
You need the tougher kind, yeah. You need the kind built
Yeah.
for dust.
Yeah, that one's definitely softer. If you let it sit out for a little while, it'll harden up. But
You're gonna have to get some soap. It's gonna be sticky for a little bit. Yeah, you have to get that soap.
It all gets hard eventually.
Yes, that's what lady said. I have no. Honestly, I'm
See?
just being mature.
Just ignore them. I don't know. I kind of want to do like an experiment, like let it go sit in the sun.
Yeah, it would be melting.
It all gets hard eventually.
That was actually smart by you, lady. That was very good.
Ah.
yeah,
Okay.
it has to be documented.
Yeah, well, I can't.
We're gonna make this even messier now. Because we can.
Well,
It
there's
came
so
with
many
this-
things you're saying right now.
In a few months, she's not going to remember what the context is for that.
No, I won't. You're like, what the heck was I
don't
talking
think
about
any
that
of
day?
It'll all get hard eventually.
Especially with a quote-unquote Stardew stream.
Okay, so we're about to make this a lot messier. You can see how chipped my nail is. Oh well. Good. We're about to make this a lot messier with all this glitter packet here. Wait, this is me stalling for people to get here to play Stardew, by the way.
Well, ladies here.
Because I owe this redemption anyway, so. For St. Jude's.
Let's
So
go
this
to
was a good
kids.
thing. Lurkin, thank you for the lurk! Okay, we're gonna like...
Always
Oh
for the
god,
kids.
this is gonna be a nightmare.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. Put it on my hand too. There we go.
What?
Oh no. You're gonna
You
get
make-
glitter everywhere.
You're gonna make me start sweating.
There.
Well,
There. It's not sticking to me. There. It's sticking to my hands. No problem.
there's probably a lot of salt.
You're doing black cat ears. Oh my god. Redeem black cat ears. Not that your hands aren't covered in slime and glitter. And
Oh my god.
let's give this a challenge. Alright.
Well, that's why you always use one.
One-handed, because I ain't getting that crap in my hair.
I was about to say, yeah.
There.
Use it one arm.
Thank you, Mama. Yeah, it's like stuck to my hands now.
Yeah, you should definitely get that checked out. I think you
Challenge.
celebrated way too much, you know, in the New Year's.
Yeah. That looks like it came from the strip club, right?
Should probably say New Year's.
Me? Maybe that's how I celebrate New Year's.
Well, I'm not
Maybe.
judging.
Redeemed gun show? Okay. Let's do that. Alright, gun
Get the
show.
kitty bee.
Get your guns out. Get your guns
It's a
out.
different camera. So.
Oh, that cat does not like it.
It's all, yeah, after she cleaned the glitter, yeah. It actually took most of the glitter off my hands. It did
There you
really
go,
good.
baby.
There's
No,
some.
it's gonna take oil off your hand. Honestly.
Yeah. Glitter.
There we go.
I'm not touching
Still
my
haven't
shirt.
missed the stream.
Damn, girl, you've been working out.
Yeah, my back actually is killing me.
I'll stop that.
Oh, stop your back.
Go
Oh,
look at
there.
that streak, Mono.
I popped it.
40
40.
stream streak.
Jeez.
I haven't missed one yet. Might be late, but don't miss one.
That's okay. Fancy! 5 stream streak. Why does my back just feel like it's got a giant knot in it today? I think I slouched too much this week.
Which is a good thing. Not a bad thing.
You missed that one? What did you miss? The gun trial?
The last one. No, the last stream.
That last year.
Momo missed the last
No.
stream. So she lost her streak.
Yeah, how?
No. I got glitter. It did. Some of it did stick to my forehead.
You said it wouldn't, but
I know.
Well,
I should have
Please
bet
don't
money
touch
on
your
this.
Yeah.
No,
should've.
because it gets sticky to oil.
It didn't stick.
Well, eventually it will. Not in that way.
I bet my forehead's sticky enough now, though, for it to stick.
probably.
The glitter.
Honestly,
yeah, just a little
that's-
bit. What, Michigan? Honestly,
Nothing.
what?
Nothing. I'm here
Uh-huh.
to play Stardew.
That's what I thought. I'll catch. You're catching Pokemon. We're back with the slimy glitter stuff in my bowl full of glitter. That, you know, is now migrating all over my desk.
Yeah, you're gonna have a difficult time.
I guess the good thing is this slime pretty much does clean up all the glitter.
Yeah.
Thank you for the biddies, Shane. Thank you for the
But just
25
sucks the
biddies.
more that
Thank
you
thank
add
you.
to it, the more brittle it becomes.
Yeah, it does. It's already more brittle. But yeah. There's my fingers. I have a pearl on top of my finger.
Is that how
Right.
pearls are made? No kidding.
Yeah. It's mermaid eggs. That's what we've determined. It's mermaid eggs.
I always say if you go to Kimono.
I mean, it's accurate. I mean, Ariel came out of a clamshell for whatever reason.
Right? So now we know where the pearls come from and what they are. They're really mermaid eggs. Mermaids laid them inside the clams.
I always say if you go to Kimono stream, you'll always get pearls. That was horrible. I'm gonna jump out the window.
Yay! 2 of us caught it. Come on. Okay. It smells funny.
Why are you smelling it?
Exactly.
I wanted to know
We
what it
both
smelled like.
We both said it. Like, why?
You should taste it.
I'm sure it's like
How about you eat it?
non-toxic.
It's gotta be. But you have
But
to at least lick it
3
once.
plus. Lick it!
Yeah, you gotta get a taste
No,
of
no,
it, dude.
you have to eat it. Cook it and eat it.
Things you guys have me do.
No, that's a mod. I'm not a mod, so I can say whatever.
It's like Play-Doh. Like, you have to at least lick it
No,
once.
it's gonna taste like.
Let
No.
you lick it. You
Dude.
lick
Come on. I'm out.
it. Lick the slime off your fingers.
God.
I'm too old for this.
Momo's enjoying it.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying.
She would too.
Oh. I don't know. We don't get enough donations to St. Jude around here for OF content. Just kidding.
Nope.
Honestly, I do have
Not enough donations for the kids.
It's all for the kids. It's not for me.
For the kids.
I know Markiplier, like his OF content goes towards charity.
I love that. I love that
Mm-hmm.
too.
Well, yeah, obviously
And it's all
pick the right
tasteful.
ones.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
St.
It was
Jude
a
is
great
about
marketing scheme. Markiplier's OF account goes toward charity.
St. Jude's about 86 cents per dollar, so it's very good.
How do you know Markiplier? He's YouTube. He's everywhere.
Yeah.
St. Jude doesn't like mess around with the other charities where they.
His mom backed his OF stuff. She was like proud of him. He did a video with his mom to announce his OF account. Yeah, he did a video with his mom to announce his OF account for charity.
Oh, we looked at it. Just research.
Oh yeah, it was required research material.
Yeah. It goes to the Children's Hospital in Cincinnati, Ohio, and the World.
Nice, nice.
So he's got 2 charities.
It's worth paying the $2 just to check it out.
It is.
No, yeah. When it comes to
It's
the
just
kids,
hilarious. It's just memes. It's memey.
I haven't either. Same.
I haven't
kids
watched American
don't
Pie in a while.
deserve-
I
Kids
haven't
don't
either.
deserve pain.
But- And then I don't know if
To
y'all
be
are
honest,
familiar
that'd
with
probably be the
the wrestler John Cena, but he did one too on OF, but his doesn't go to charity. I'm surprised knowing him, but his doesn't go to charity. It was just like it's really hilarious. Dumb stuff.
I mean, it's not meant to be. It wasn't originally meant to be that the way it is now, but.
No, it's just it was meant to be actual fan content, not.
It's supposed to be the competitor to Patreon.
Yeah. And Patreon has legit big stuff on it. And OF stuff on it. Yeah, alright, we're gonna add these mermaid booty covers in here on it.
You mean the shell?
Yeah, mermaid booby covers. I feel like these are the most awkward things to put
How many
into
have
the
you got, though?
spawns. Too many. Oh, there's still glitter in this bag. Huh? Use them for what?
Save some for feed for me.
Save some for you?
Everything's
The whole thing is slime.
But I mean, you could do that too.
Oh, this is the new bathwater. Who wants to buy my bathwater for St. Jude? Here's my bathwater for St. Jude. There you go. It's got all my DNA, sweat, and skin crap in it, yeah.
I mean, I nap in the same bed that you slept in, so fine. I'm used to all your sweat and DNA.
Monoclone, apparently. Lady wants it. Mono slime clone. Yeah. Mama,
Look,
you'll
if
be
I had
proud
the
of me.
technology, I probably would.
Mama, I got it all out of the container.
So I think if I were able to clone Mono, I'd obviously clone her into a child because I don't think it'd be fair to have a full-grown adult that has the intelligence of a baby because I assume that they're not going to have the same intelligence.
Special.
And just raise her in a environment that she deserves.
Aww. She would turn me into goth Mono for sure.
Probably. But that's okay.
Yeah.
It's your true nature anyway. Whether you believe it or not.
My spicy side. Mono after dark. Yeah, I'm working on getting it all out of the lid for you. Only to put it all back in the container when we're done at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying.
Sticky removes sticky.
Yeah, it just had to get hot enough.
Mm-hmm.
Getting hot in here.
So let's what?
You're hot enough.
Damn right she is, Momo.
I need to sleep. Don't dream too much about me. She's gonna have nightmares now. Gonna be like, Momo! Momo! I'm gonna cover your face in slime. Here you go, Momo. So this is the image to leave you with. Darker than Momo slime. Yeah. Oh, the little glitter bag is. This little glitter bag is gonna like infinitely produce glitter forever.
Yes, it is.
And ever. And ever. And I do believe there are shells in here somewhere. Somewhere.
Well, you played it.
Well.
You played with it so long that there's no. They got dissolved.
They're there.
They're there. They're just fully coated in slime now.
Yep.
Just like the pearls are there. You gotta squeeze them out. Okay. More slime.
Honestly, you're gonna find glitter tomorrow that you
Yeah.
never ever find glitter.
There we go. I found confetti piece of a confetti cannon I did 5 years ago in this room. Like, with where did that even come from? It was suddenly on my mouse mat. Oh my god, it was probably hanging on the ceiling somewhere or something. Alright, so how much are we selling bathwater slime for?
Nothing.
Nobody wants my bathwater slime. Oh, but my hands
Good.
touched it. I'm such a mess. Ah. There, we'll roll it up into a nice little ball. Look at that. Nice little ball. Beautiful.
Run.
Maybe if I do it with my feet, yeah, if I do it with my feet, it would be sold right away.
Either or, I saw.
That's the problem. I'm not using my toes to their full potential.
Hashtag only feet. Yup.
Yeah. See a piece of slime in
Okay,
the
we
bowl?
get enough Mono feet. Mono or Momo. And they're
Y'all
free.
are special.
Great.
Y'all are special.
Mhm.
What? I had to pay
signed up?
$2.99. What? That's good.
That
Yeah.
you signed up for the lifetime feed subscription.
Mhm.
And you get all the feed.
Just by being friends.
Yep.
No, I'm not a friend yet.
Almost like friends with benefits.
I have to pay
It
$9.99.
is. It's friends with feed benefits.
Mm. You guys might. I very rarely trade, but the only
Yeah.
time I did was while I was recovering with my ankle.
Actually, I have beautiful feet.
I sometimes send blurry feet pics just to tease people, you know, like
They're actually very hairy.
like when I'm
compared
walking
to-
down the sidewalk, snap.
Yeah, I do that sometimes. I usually send them
Shane
to
is
Delta.
like, what? Shane, you
That's what happens when he leaves the center.
Yeah,
what happens
I'm
when
on
you
the
sign
map
up
a
for
reason. Sorry.
Snapchat with me. You get feet pics, whether you want them or not.
I know it's like. To be fair, on Snapchat, I have my hockey skate on, and then people don't see that it's on ice.
Yeah. I didn't know what ice looked like when you stand on it, to be fair.
It's white.
It just looked like
Well,
a floor to
hockey
me.
rink is.
There you go.
The only thing you'll get is my ice skating abilities. That's the only thing you're gonna get.
The reason why it's like that is because of the consistent like freezing of layers of the water, right? For that, or is it they add like white paint or something to the hockey rink?
No, it's just frozen. No, it's.
I think it's all the scoring of the skates and probably.
I'm pretty sure it's the layer.
Well, at the lower part of it, they put water
might just
on
be a
it,
white
so it
floor
makes
on
it
the
look
bottom,
a little bit
Like concrete color.
Well, what happens is that the lower layer, the very low
Okay.
layer, is
Oh, is this like an expiration date or something?
I mean,
No, it's a
it
manufacturing
literally,
date.
it literally says how much can you play with it. I think it's what it says.
No. Manufacturing date.
Do not
Mhm.
play with it for 30 minutes.
July
That's
of
what it
2023 in Shanghai, China.
This is proof of authenticity for you guys to acquire. Going once, going twice.
says. Sold to yourself.
To the next $50 dono, KimonoKat slime bathwater.
No, I
Number
don't
one.
think anybody wants that.
Yeah, with 2 boobies on top. There you go.
2 boobies. That's good.
2 boobies.
Sorry.
Cannot guarantee it will arrive in the same format. Michelle's maple it in. But it's right.
For an X.
It may get hard as well. I don't know. I've never shipped slime.
For an extra $10, you get autograph.
Yeah. It's got, you know, mermaid eggs, glitter, shells. There you go.
You have a lot of Kimono's Oreos in there.
Yeah, a lot of my DNA. All sealed up in this cute little container just for you.
And you have to sign it, and then it's good.
There's probably gonna be a few people sad they missed out on this.
Not me.
They weren't here today. Shame on them. Alright. I did save out some shells for you, Rain.
Yay.
Got some cute shells.
Yeah, it is.
Sure.
And put them on top of the bath water slime.
I forgot I got candy for Dalton.
Yeah, he's gonna be all hyper and then just.
No, I caught the Pokemon. Alright.
Excuse me.
I promise I do have Stardew open.
It's
Turtle! You missed it all!
Blackgasm,
Sorry!
blackgasm, blackgasm.
Limited time has expired, Turtle. You missed the event. You missed the KimonoKat bathwater.
That doesn't even sound right.
Light up ears? Got you. Ah, maybe. The ear just popped off.
What?
I'm sure it just popped back on, but that was weird.
Finally die?
Apparently they come in half. There. light them up.
Light 'em up.
Yeah, I got D&D in 7 hours. That did, hey. Good night. Oh, thanks for hanging out. Hope you enjoy. But not too much. Hi. Alright.
Ah,
Have a good stream and a good game, lovelies. Thank you.
Fine,
We're gonna
I'm
come
fine,
back
I'm
with some
fine.
Stardew. We're gonna take a quick break.
Do
I'm
it.
gonna step away.
a little bit.
Ray and Michigan are in charge.
Oh god.
No, Rain's in charge.
I was gonna say you don't want to put Michigan in charge at all.
It's gonna end up being my channel also. Just kidding.
Lick. Night loves. Good night. But thank you so much, Turtle, for that sub, by the way. Thank you, thank you. Thank you for redeeming the lead of yours, Michigan. I forgot to hype things. Where's my hype button? There we go. Woo! Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I still have glitter on my forehead somewhere. I see it every now and then. Yeah. And my hands are glittery a little bit, but I don't think you guys can see that.
No, you need to put soap on your hands because they're gonna be very.
Yeah, I gotta go wash my hands before I touch the keyboard.
100%.
That's why I'm gonna go take a break. Go
Do
take a break. Sticky balls, yes. Gotta get my feet out of the chair too. Rip the skin off my foot because my foot was stuck to the chair. Anyway, I'll be right back. I'll leave you two with these monkeys.
Dude, I identify as a seal. Well, I'm gonna go to the bathroom and get myself another beer. That's where I'm gonna go. That's my turn. any, at band camp and all the band camp?
What did I miss?
Nothing. I just got back too.
Hi, welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Anyway, the lady was talking some horrible stuff, and I had to fight her. And it's just crazy.
Bullshit.
Hi, Cakes. Welcome to the sea. Alright, we're done playing with slime, I think. We're actually gonna play some screen. Maybe. It's been fun. Ah! Now that I'm like breaking things and yeah, I didn't get started.
Oh man.
So good.
Waiting to join.
I know. I got enthralled in my coffee here for a second. I was having a moment to myself. It was great. I got me some cold brew coffee and some creamer in it and some whipped cream on top. Oh my god, that's so good. I had taken a nap and I knew that I would not wake up and be able to do stream if I didn't have a little bit of caffeine. Because I slept so good. It was really good sleeps. Alright,
That's good.
turn off this music and switch ourselves over to some Stardew and turn on my Stardew sounds so we can actually hear the game. Now I gotta test my volumes. Changed everything. Oh yeah, y'all can definitely hear that. Maybe too loud. There you go. I want you to be able to hear the game itself. Because I want to be able to hear the game itself. But I want you to be able to hear the people in chat more. Say something really new, Rain.
No.
No. Nice.
Rain is loud.
Fine.
Jeez,
Okay,
lady, we're
okay,
trying to
we
stream
are
it.
on. I clicked the wrong farm. Okay, we are on Hacks 1.6 farm today. 1.6, blah 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 blah. And we are still wearing crab cake shirts, by the way. That's how long it's been. I don't think we changed that. At least I didn't.
I didn't realize it'd been that long.
Well, it's the journey of our group.
Ah.
Emily has been waiting for me, so, for a very long time.
And
Yep. Still got the crab cakes.
Oh,
But
there is.
Lemon changed hers.
What? Oh yeah, yeah. I just didn't get around to it yet.
Well, that's fun. I'm gonna close the game for a second.
See, should be able to invite him. Hold on.
Probably Shane. It'd be a little helpful.
No, what is it? Welcome. As pretty as you are, I'm sure the viewers want to see the game. Yeah, when I get out of bed. I'm not even.
Wait, what the fuck just happened?
I'm terrible.
Well, I'm getting a load nothing. Yeah, I'm not actually loading in.
So it killed the connection, and now something broke on my computer completely.
No, I think it's both of our connection.
No,
I'm just saying is it.
no, it's like something's completely broken on my computer now.
No! Your evil computer.
Vortex
Okay,
is broken.
Me6 says he can't add everyone in my server when I go live. Okay. I talked to him about it. No, he can. So he made an announcement that I was live, but he didn't tell everyone. Because he couldn't. He wasn't allowed.
I was wondering why I only got the notification in my server.
Yeah, I'm still tweaking things.
I'm having to reinstall Vortex.
Okay. Alright, as you can see, I'm still in Vegas. Michigan's the only one working. He's hard at it.
What? I'm trying to load back up.
Oh, nice selfie, Shane. Nice. And
I try to load into.
Okay, find my face. Alright, we're gonna get started with the Stardew thing eventually, right? About time. Okay, we're gonna put that on that. So, and that, and that, and that, and give away some hugs. Oh, Michigan got the hug, so he gets the cookies for the day. Cookies.
Hell yeah.
Michigan. 500, no, 600. 500 cookies. There we go. Congrats. Congrats on your cookies. Alright, I gotta move my keyboard to where I can reach it now that I don't have slime in front of me. Oh, I can turn off that other camera too before I forget. Because I will totally forget.
Well, lady, were you able to join?
I just said I had to reinstall Vortex.
She's got to reinstall
I
stuff.
don't care about
Yeah, it
that.
had an
I'm just
update.
saying this.
No.
But your computer died, I know. But it still had an update too. Mine did.
I'm just saying.
Oh,
I
good
can't.
God. Now my computer's being. I don't know what's going on.
No, I can't
Well,
join either. I'm just saying.
You can't join?
No, I can't. It just has a loading screen.
It says you just quit.
Yes.
It said you had joined, and then it said you had quit. So do I need to exit back out and start over?
I just know I can't. I like it. You know, I see the server, and
I'm gonna try.
Is Steam being weird today?
I don't know.
Alright, well, I'll exit to the start screen so that Michigan can try one more time. Exit to title. Thank you for the alert, Shane.
Vortex doesn't break on me again.
Go up. Post. Text. Alright, try now, Michigan. Thank you so much for the alert, Shane. Dun, 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 dun. It says you joined.
I can't even join from my own person right now.
What do you mean from your own person?
My character is gone.
What?
only thing I'm getting is this. Like, I can't actually join either.
Michigan's
So,
here.
like, it killed the server connection for me. And now I can't get into the game unless I start a new farmer.
No, and mine is this. Like, I literally picked
Okay, I'm gonna figure something. Alright, I'm gonna back out and I'm gonna play basically vanilla mode because all the cash is there.
Are we destined to play this game tonight?
I don't know. I think that the game's jinxed tonight. But yeah, I'm gonna crash the whole thing and just close program. And I'm gonna close Vortex and we're gonna go to vanilla mode and see if maybe it's just a mod conflict because I was playing with mods the other day.
Yeah, it could be.
And we got all the money we need in the account, so and that's the only hack we're really
Oh my
doing
god,
right
I
now.
opened the wrong game.
Well, I'm opening
Sure.
I opened Slime Rancher on X.
Okay.
No, I'm saying.
They're so close together.
No, it's not the.
Slime Rancher 2, and then Stardew for me.
Yeah. Say co-op.
Well, it's not. It's not working for me, so therefore.
Well, I have to start up the game. Post.
No,
Hacks.
he's struggling in general.
Yeah, I know. Okay. But now that I turned off all the mods, maybe it'll work and let you join missions.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Alright, it's back up if you want to try. If not, you may need to restart as well.
Okay,
I don't know.
So now I have access to mine. Let me see if it'll let me load in. Okay, alright. I woke up in my bed. Your bed. Alright. I'm gonna try playing on Vortex.
And I turned off Vortex to see if Michigan can join. Make sure it wasn't me.
Oh, I'm in.
Okay. So I will just stay in vanilla for today. So I get a chance to go in and turn off those extra mods.
I'll say, because normally, like, obviously can.
We picked mayonnaise. No, because the only reason we hack on this farm is for that rare special thing I do each stream and for unlimited money. So we already got our unlimited money and we don't have to do this special thing today because we don't have a lot of players today. So we did a pretty big one last stream. Last stream we grew a bunch of trees.
Yes, we did.
Lots and trees. That was the
What
special
the
thing.
fuck? I just got coal from a tree. Mono, come down here.
Okay.
To my house.
Uh-oh, what's going on? Okay, I'm coming. Hold on, I just milked the cows. Bye, cows. I'll come back later. Why are you going so fast? It's not fair.
Second play with Vortex. Look at my smoking trees.
Why are they smoke?
Coal from those. I don't know why they're smoking.
What?
I got coal from them.
What mod you got on?
I don't have a mod for that.
You don't have a mod for smoking trees?
No, I don't.
The trees are on fire!
Those were supposed to be fruit trees. This one was
Weird.
supposed to be a fruit tree, and I think this one was supposed to be a fruit tree.
So what's going on with them?
I don't know. What the fuck happened?
Maybe there's
Get
still
struck by
smoke
lightning?
trees? Oh, I wonder. Is that a thing now?
I wonder. Hold on.
I could shake it.
Yeah, I just got some coal off of them.
So they grow coal, literally? You harvest coal from them?
Yeah, I just got coal. I just. Oh!
How do you grow coal trees?
It's been so someone posted about it 2 years ago. It says it's been struck by lightning. The tree will produce coal instead of fruit for a few days.
I guess the fruit got turned into charcoal.
Yeah,
That's
This is why I don't-
crazy.
never had that happen before.
Well, and look at all our trees. They're back to normal looking trees. I'm sad.
This is why
They
I
were
don't
like
believe
super
in Santa.
cool alien looking trees before.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
I love her little peach tree.
At least I have a horse. Because I can't walk fast.
I never can.
I'm gonna go talk to people
What were we
about
doing on
things
this
and stuff.
farm last?
I don't know. We gotta expand our barns still, I think. Because they're not auto feeders yet. So I'm sure we got plenty of wood and supplies to go do that now. If somebody wants to go do that. Let's see. Or I can do it in a minute. Let's see. I just didn't bring any wood with me.
That's my story in life.
It's just story of your life. What are we talking about here,
Waiting for
Michigan?
Emily. No, waiting for Emily.
Oh, it's like not bringing enough wood with you. What?
No. I was in my own brain.
Oh. Okay, so I was hoping you could like truly buy sprinklers from somebody because that would be amazing. To craft sprinklers, what do we need? Oh, I can't craft the better ones yet anyway, so I'm gonna wait. But still, it's like we could totally craft some sprinklers so we don't have to water things. Would be nice. Bubbles, cookies. I wonder if she likes coffee. No, I'm stuck. Come back. Do you like coffee? Oh, she does. Haley likes coffee. Who knew?
I want to say most of them do.
Emily usually cooks dinner, but she's making weird stuff like quinoa. Oh. Bought ice cream from Alex. And now we're gonna give him cookies in return. Because we can. That's so cool, thanks. Gave Alex cookies. I don't know who he belongs to. Whose boyfriend is he? Yours?
Who?
Alex.
Oh, fuck no.
Which one is he?
Sam.
In this
Sam is mine.
Okay, Sam is yours in this one, okay. That's
Yeah.
I was gonna say he's selling ice cream right now.
Emily just left her house.
Oh, thank you. Just
Let me know when the mayor gets there.
got the bar.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna make sure he lowers taxes.
I'm getting all the colas out of the trash today, by the way. Aren't you
He said,
saving
"Well,
those
I'm trying to
for
buy you a beer."
Sam? Was this the one that Sam liked colas or whatever?
Mm-hmm. He likes Georgia Cola.
Where the heck is my horse? Crap, where did I leave my horse? I don't even know. There it is. It's like, I just left my horse somewhere. I was like, where'd it go?
I'm gonna bring a thing to you.
Crab
There you go.
shots could use some bait. I'm at the beach collecting seashells by the seashore. I'm foraging. Because I wanted to go buy sprinklers and I realized I can't. A horse whistle! Yes! How do you give it to me? Oh, you have to build a chest. Or you have to drop it.
But I'm trying to drop it, but it won't let me.
Drop it.
I'm gonna.
Hi, Six. Where'd she go?
Pass by the museum.
By the museum.
Yep.
Museum. Oh, purple shorts. Dang. Somebody got the purple shorts already. Yes, horse whistle. Then I can find my horsey no matter where I'm at. That's the best thing ever. If you lose your horse, then you can't go as fast.
Oops.
It's already 6 p.m. Dang it.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the mayor to get here to talk with his hoe.
Oh, don't forget it's like recipe day. You wanna do a recipe thing. Alright, let's see if he likes shells. Do you like shells, you're a scientist? Yeah, he does. He likes shells. Cool. Scientists do like shells. Let's see if she likes coral. Thanks, looks nice. Penny likes coral. Okay. She doesn't hate me for giving her coral. I gave Vince ice cream and he loved it. I gave him the ice creams. Oh, now he's yelling at me for digging in the trash. Dude, I gave you ice cream. Don't yell at me.
Unbelievable.
I can dig in the trash if I want to. I like being a trash panda. You get colas in there. Apparently people throw away the JoJo stuff like it's nasty or something.
What's the mayor's name?
Lewis.
Lewis. Mayor Lewis.
It's okay, I just went to his house.
Oh, he's there.
And returned his shorts.
Yep. I showed him to Marnie first, though.
We gotta go
She
drop.
freaked out.
How did we do that? Oh, we didn't let him out. Oh. Slimes, get away from me, and you better leave my horse alone. That's all I'm saying. Oh, we don't have any machines to make cheese yet.
Nope.
No cheese makers. I only got a mayo maker ability. I have a dehydrator maker ability, because this is the random made thingamajig. So, if we get a fire, quartz, clay, and wood, I can make dehydrators. It's randomized. All the random things. Okay. Oh.
Sorry, Emily is telling me how she makes her drinks. Sorry.
You're fine. Get off me!
I'm basically
Slimes.
role playing. Honestly, it's like, hey.
Yeah, I mean, you
Come
gotta
on,
give her stuff so you can marry her. Bring her home.
Well, it doesn't
I
work
forgot
in
to
real
gift
life.
Elliot.
Given so many beers, I will definitely give her a pump. Let's get not a pump.
It takes a while, but it will work. You can only give though, like what, 2 gifts a week or something though. So
Yeah, I know it's lame. Like I asked her if she wanted to go to Applebee's, but
we're not processing any food. Do we have food?
there's a lot of people at the bar. Okay, one person.
Yeah, I don't think we do. There's so many things I want to do, and I can't do any of it yet in this
Well, it's
game.
getting late. Shoot.
We're so far behind in this one.
Well, because half the people that play this game are not.
Yeah, we haven't played it in a while. And then they're not here. On top of that, does not help things. But I am putting all the things and stuff in the chest, so we'll have some money at least. And I'm gonna be sure to go to sleep in the right bed.
The thing about me, I always find the right bed. Doesn't matter how drunk I am.
Day 8 of summer.
Oh shit, I
Oh.
think okay. That's my bad.
I love how your beard is so black on the game that it just disappears into the background.
What?
Or are you just not wearing a beard in game?
I am having a beard in game. I'm confused. Are you talking about her?
The black background and the loading screen,
Let's see.
because
Sure.
your beard is so dark, it just blends in.
Oh, that's probably what
Shorts
it is,
and
yeah.
Lucky
So it just
Bello.
looks like a little floating bald
I'm
head.
taking this crappy cake
Right.
shirt
Well,
off. I'm done.
Story of my life, also.
That's fair.
My hair is so.
Yeah, see,
black.
Mono, come down here. Look at my smoking trees.
Okay, hold on.
Damn it.
That's so cool though. I had never seen smoking trees
Mm-mm.
before. All the times I play this game, there's always something new. I swear, every time we open it up.
Guess what? It's because we don't keep the fruit trees outside.
Yeah, we always keep them inside. We've never put them
Uh-huh.
outside before.
I have my guitar out singing to Emily right now.
Oh, I found a book.
See, one of them's got coal
They're
on it.
smoking.
Over
I
here.
want ours. The smoky
Over here.
trees.
Over here. Over here. Over here. Here. One up here. Got a
Okay,
coal on it.
harvest this one.
See?
So cool.
Yeah.
I got coal from a tree. And my earbud is already dying. I think my earbuds are slowly going bad. I've used them so much. the especially the right ear, because
Oh yeah.
I don't want to use, so it doesn't stay charged anymore. They used to stay charged like forever. Just have like a 10-hour life, and they definitely don't have that anymore.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Found a lost book.
I found squash that's in your yard.
Oh. Okay.
Okay, so I want to learn how to. Huh? Oh my god, trading with a party of 12. Oh. Welcome, Raiders! Welcome in from Hollow's stream. I hope you had an awesome stream, Hollow. I hope it was a great time. Welcome, welcome, welcome in, Stardew. Why, hello there, Mona. Hello.
How's everybody doing?
Good. Cray cray here.
What with the Raiders? I know what you're feeling.
I'm just trouble. Let's see. What do we need for my
I forgot to watch TV.
crafting project? Seeds. You know what? We'll leave those here. I'll just leave those here. But welcome everyone. Welcome to the stream. We're here raising money for St. Jude's. The time limit is almost up. I have till the 31st to make my goal for the kiddos. So, just so you guys know, and every dollar counts. Let's see. I'm really hoping we make the goal. My game had a file corruption for my save, so we had to restart. No! What game are you playing? Oh, I gotta do a shout out. Let's see. That's at Hollow. Let's see if my other bot's working today. No, it's not. I added that other bot and it didn't work today. Maybe you have to have it open one. Up, wrong thing, wrong thing. Balls. There we go. Okay, let's try this again. See. It's not working! There.
What happened?
I did that new bot I installed, the Frosty tools or whatever,
Oh.
so that it gives you like a special statement about the streamer.
It's not even in chat.
That's the weird part. But yeah, my only option is to disconnect my channel, not connect my channel. But it never had you like /mod either, it just worked. Sorry to raid and run, but I got a few things done around the house. No worries, no worries. Oh yeah, it's making me reauthorize it all over again. I don't know.
I wonder if they had
An update or something probably.
Mm.
Well, you're getting all the shoutouts today because I'm just gonna keep doing them until it works. It just still didn't work. There it goes! Yes! Oh my gosh! Like Hollywood Chassis is the raddest gamer on the block. I did a Valley Girl one just to heck of it to see what it said.
God.
They're all about those open world vibes and shiny Pokemon hunts. With a heart of gold and a love for group play, they're totally unafraid to tackle challenges even when they're feeling under the weather. And like their Nuzlocke hype is so real. It's like, whoa, get ready to hug and cry, laugh. Yeah, and cry tears of joy with this epic gamer journey. I don't know if I like the Valley Girl one, but it's funny. There's like different tones of voices you can pick. It's amazingly accurate. Yes, it's so cool. And you can pick your like tone of voice. You can do like Dr. Seuss and different versions too. Let's try like the Dr. Seuss one. See what happens when we do Dr. Seuss just for the hell of it. Let's see. Thank you for being my guinea pig here. Hello. Let's see what it does. Come on, generate
I think it only
There it goes.
there it goes.
In of games where the hollow monstrosity roams, a gamer with a heart of vast as open domes. With shiny hunts and races, they play without a care. Their world's so bright, it's like they're never there. From Terra Tech to Pokemon, they blast and catch with glee. With friends and viewers by their side, what a sight to see. Through illness and excitement, their spirit is always high. Join the fun, ask a question, and watch their stream Skyfly.
I think it broke a little bit there.
Yeah, it did, but still. I like the Valley Girl one better. Conspiracy theorist. Food critic. Oh god. He'd be a Viking. It's Simmy Diaz! Hello! Hello! Okay, I'm gonna go back to default for now though, because the default one is best. And choose bots, because I couldn't find it a minute ago. But welcome everyone, welcome in from Hollow Stream. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hope you are all having a wonderful day and a wonderful weekend as we sit here and play in the land of Stardew. Or watch me do mod stuff instead of playing in the land of Stardew because I'm slacking at the moment. There we go. You don't own that extension? Oh, own that ball. Amount of Pokeballs? Wow. Well, before I buy more Pokeballs, I'm gonna make sure I got money to buy other balls. Then I'll buy Pokeballs. You know, I have enough money to buy Pokeballs now because I spent all my balls on that. Do I have this Pokemon? Who knows? Nobody knows. I don't know. Let's see. Poke. Shop. Poke. Ball. Can I buy 3 of them? Yay, I have enough money to buy 3 of them. Alright, back to things and stuff. And the Pokemon escaped, of course. Rude. Rude! Rude. Why is this thing offline?
I don't know.
Am I offline?
No, you're online. You're fine.
Why does
Oh
my
yeah, you're online. Yep.
Why does it
Online.
say offline on my end?
Where?
Like when I'm looking at Twitch, it says on my screen it said I was offline. I'm like, what the hell? It scared me.
You didn't
Okay,
refresh,
never
did you?
mind. I guess not, but usually it auto does all that mess and it scared me.
Depends
That
on
I was
how
like,
long you've been there.
yeah, I've been here a while. My brain is just like, what the heck? So I can make stuff. Let's make one of these and one of these. And that works. And now it's time to go to sleep. Oh, I was gonna put the stuff in there so that I can make more stuff. That helped me make anything else? No, it did not. Time to sleep. Hugs. Better give me dinner.
Oh,
Dinner first.
I forgot that was a
And
thing
Timmy
that I
Diaz
did.
gets the boop. Hugs. There's Splash's Hollow.
I got a letter
Hug
from
6.
Sam. It says, "Meet
Oh.
me in front of my house tonight after dark."
Ooh.
That sounds.
I guess myself.
I'm gonna go get some.
Mm.
Damn. Can I watch? No, it's okay. That was a joke.
Sure, I don't care.
It was a joke.
More the merrier.
Yeah, we want to watch your romance.
I swipe
Lots of-
binoculars.
Okay, I'm putting a food dehydrator outside my house. Anybody can use it for their fish.
Emily, open the door.
I don't have fish, so. I have no fish. So it doesn't really help me any. I'm just gonna put this back here, even though there's no trees back here. Let's see how it does. Just randomly. That's just a weird place for that. Who has fish and catches fish? Is it you, Michigan? Where are you at? Where'd
Nope,
you
it's me.
No, I know. I'm outside Emily's house.
There's Michigan's house. We kiss all here. Nico! Thank you, Dad. How are you? Welcome
The
to
luau is
tea.
on Thursday, by the way.
Okay. Well, I bring you the gift of a dehydrator to stick out here next to your clothesline or something. Make your food smell like, your clothes smell like dehydrated fish.
You're dehydrating fish? Aren't you supposed to smoke the fish?
You spoke the fish. It's just, your food's gonna smell funky. You get the idea. It'd be gross food, and I don't know whose garden this is that needs picked, but I'm picking it. I think it's Momo's.
It is really nice.
Picking Momo's garden for her since she could not join us today.
Oh, I got the
Um,
2-star scene with Abigail now, so let's see if I can do it again.
Hey. Well, you know what? We
Well,
just
this is
got food, and there's all these preserves by Rose's house, so preserve containers. So
I'm in Emily's room. I feel so like weird. It's like, hey, what's up?
what are you doing over there in Emily's room?
I was watching her. So
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if I can do this.
Okay, and then
Alright, I'm the right one.
are
Emily.
we collecting gold items anywhere for things and stuff? I don't know.
Oh,
I'll
we're
put
holding
in
hands.
the
Yes,
chest
sir.
that leaves the house. We'll put gold stuff in there. Gold items
Oh, I picked up coal
for
for her.
grunge display. There's a lot of things that gotta go to the community center sitting in here too. And then some stuff that just doesn't belong
Are we
in
done?
here. Okay. I'm good. I'm glad you're doing good,
Gotcha.
Dash. I'm glad. We're doing silly things today here. I feel like that's what we've done today.
Coffee. Damn it.
And I need a sprinkler.
Oh, a train.
Was I keeping gold stuff? Oh, I am keeping gold stuff in there. Never mind. Okay. Pull those out. And gold stuff in here too. Okay. There we go. And I don't have one of those, so I'll sell that. Sell silver. Any more silvers in here I can sell? Sell that one. And that one. A couple of those I'm gonna keep. That's the only potatoes we have. Milk, I can sell silver. What? I saw. Oh, you can take a squash to the thing too? I didn't know that. Squash
Oh
can
my
go to
God.
the community center. Good. I start work on Tuesday. Finally got a job. That's awesome. What kind of stuff you gonna be doing? You excited?
I did
Let's
it.
see.
I did the game with Abigail and we won.
Noise.
Yay! Congratulations.
Sweet. Now I can grab what I wanted.
Ooh, Michigan. Stole my ride. Look at him go.
Nah,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna park it over here and you're never gonna see it again.
Alright.
And those. And those.
Trash.
And those. And that. Okay, so we're gonna sell everything else I just picked up. No, we're not eating that. And then we're gonna grab all these things in this chest and take a wearable up.
Sorry, I'm not helping the group at all. I'm just stealing horses and being
fine.
weird.
You can run around the entire perimeter of the Stardew Valley and forage for us.
No, I'm scaredy. Hold on.
You're scared. The possum's gonna get you. Not that you're afraid.
I'm gonna get my sword out.
We probably need stuff picked up from the beach too. Oh, wait, I just did that yesterday, I think, so maybe not.
I want to be a stable man and feed the.
Let's see. Don't have that. Don't have that. That's a weird one to ask for. They need an ice cream in here and cookies, and I got rid of both. Oh, good job. Oh, it's 10 of those. Dang, and 10 milk. 10 milks and 10 eggs. Who knew? Wine and tree resin. Okay. We need 10 milks, 10 eggs. I'll work on that.
Well, I would say I can milk the cows.
Do it. Go milk the cows for me.
Can you actually do it?
Yeah, there's the chest in there has the bucket to milk with. Look at that. We just completed a bundle.
Hey.
A lot of eggs here.
I got my first keg, so now I can make the wine that I need for the other thing. Oh. And we need that. Boop. Need more milk. More eggs. Dang it. Yeah, so don't sell the milk and eggs. I need all of it.
No, I'm gonna eat it. No, it's good. Sorry.
No, need it all. You need it. Apparently we need rare crops too. We need ancient fruit and gemberry. Corn, pumpkin, yam, and broccoli. I was supposed to go see about expanding farm buildings, and I completely forgot. You know, I did a good job. So I need to bring back 5,000 milks and start making some wine.
Well, at least I cleaned out something in the what's it called, the shed.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, I'm with the chickens. Maybe it shouldn't be.
Yeah, collect all those eggs and put them in this red chest near the exit.
Yeah, that's what I did. I need to go to the other one.
And put the milk in there too, because I need like 11 eggs and 11 milks. And I need a duck egg.
Oh.
And...
Come on.
Dark, let's see what Sam wants.
Ooh.
I got large milk. Yeah. I'm gonna milk everybody.
He's asleep.
Oh, he just snuck me into his room. He wanted to talk to me in private.
Whoa.
Damn, why are you telling us?
Private?
If it's private. Anyways, I got a lot of large milk and all those stuff.
There we go. Okay. We'll just leave those guys in there and there. And there. Okay.
I'll just farm.
Get a farm.
No, as in, I can take care of the animals. Shoot, I'm getting stabbed.
Yeah, that's awesome if you want to take care of animals. I just took care of the chickens though, so you don't have to today. But they do need petted like first thing in the morning, so that's a pain.
Oh, that's
He just
nothing.
told his mom
And
that
make
he
sure
was
you
doing
leave
push-ups.
make sure you leave the milk
And she's
pail
like,
in
no
the
wonder you're
barn.
red and sweaty.
Dang,
Make sure
you
you
be
leave-
doing push-ups. Oh my god. Oh,
Yeah,
the
make sure you
cat's
leave
here.
the milk pail in the barn so that if you
Oh,
decide
whoops,
to
did I
leave,
accidentally
somebody
take
else
that?
can
Yes,
do
I
it.
did. Yes, I apologize. But I'll be there
problem.
early in the mornings.
I think I have enough of those. Go back. Need time. We get time. If I had a horse, this would be a lot faster.
I don't know who stole that. It wasn't me.
Somebody stole
It was
my horse.
definitely a lady.
Somebody stole my horse. I need a new horse.
I know. I always
Alright.
tell lady.
I was effectively a hoe.
You got used.
So what happened in your scene? Tell us. We want the deets.
Oh, we cuddled.
I don't want to hear
In
it.
his room?
Jeez.
Yeah.
That's so cute.
I don't want to hear it.
know. Dan's so sweet.
You just cuddled all day.
Seven.
Not all day.
There we go. And then we need wheat
This is
and
why I
flour
went to bed first, because
times
Emily's
10,
not
100
going to
of
bed.
wheat. 100 wheat flour is a lot of wheat flour. Salmon berry.
Well, I'm texting Emily right now.
Oh, there was another board that needed milk or something. I'm not gonna make it home, am I?
I cooked dinner and you're not even home.
No, I'm terrible. Yeah. Milk. I'm running! But I don't have my horse. Oh, I have a whistle!
Forgot I pulled out a whistle, huh?
Yep. Come on, horse! Can you get me home in time? Let's go! I doubt it, but we're gonna
Dude,
try.
that horse. I never seen that horse in my life.
We might make it. It's gonna be close. We'll at least make it in the house.
Where did I leave that horse? I don't know.
You're home. Yes!
Oh, God, barely made it.
Thank you for the horse whistle.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I know how much you lose your horse.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. It's all her fault. Yes.
Oh, this time of horses.
It's all her fault. It wasn't me. I didn't even know what
Okay.
the horse is.
Tomorrow, gathering the beach for Pelican Town.
Oh yeah, I was gonna.
Wow.
I have to do something early in the morning, right? Cows. and
Yes,
stuff.
early morning. Go pet every animal. You gotta right click on every animal and then you gotta milk them. And then same thing with the chickens. You gotta milk the chickens.
Whoops. That's easy mode for me.
You just be like, what? Milk the chickens? What?
Well, it's a different universe. I went to the chicken and said, "Do not produce milk." Well,
Yeah.
Yeah, they kind of don't, so.
I know, but it's just I'm going to all the animals. I'm milking everything right in the morning. That's what I do.
Yeah. There.
You guys have
And
6.
they're on black too.
I only can milk one time. Like you guys have a lot of orders.
Nope. Actually, I don't think those will do any good there. Take those back out. And then we'll come in here and see if anything is new. Just fertilizer things and stuff. Okay.
Anyways, I'm doing the chicken stuff right now. Getting everything put in.
Okay.
That's my journey in life right now. Eggs.
Dragon! 74
Hello,
months!
KimonoKat.
Holy cow! Welcome! Thank you. You get the hype in here. Where's the hype button? I don't even know.
I only have 2 screens or
Wrong
so.
button. Boop.
Keep the bucket here. Milk.
Thank you so much! I hope you're having an awesome Friday afternoon. Nico! Yes! All the Nico. Alright, I think we're gonna put this somewhere, but we're going to grab a berry because I need to make some wine. Oh, we need one of those for the community center. What else do we need in here for the community center? We need the cookies.
Anyways, I milked all the cows and got all the eggs and stuff.
Thank you. Honeys for crafting.
Apparently, that's my journey.
I'm trying to scan and see if any of the stuff needs to
Yeah,
go.
this is my horse, right? Okay.
Keep sitting. Horse thief, I tell you.
No, Emily, because I had to go milk the cows. Emily.
Yeah.
So, I'm sorry.
There we go. Oh, I put the wrong berry in there. I needed the berry. Oh well. We'll grab another one. There.
Emily?
Oh, wait. No. I need to come over here and put in
Emily,
the
guess
honey
what I did?
and take out that random egg and milk. And then go. Okay. Yeah, so you can make bug steaks. Not that I need a steak. Playing some Fallout 4. Nice.
Nice.
No Stardew? Just kidding.
I love me some Fallout 4.
Well, you guys can see here, but Emily wanted me to take this picture. It wasn't me.
Sure.
Aww.
It wasn't me.
Yeah,
Like
so I
Emily
did
said
take
it.
a picture. I'll take that back and take that to me later. But
I always like to say, I'll
Access.
milk the cows, get the eggs, get the girl. Let's go.
see what happens.
Wait. Did you just summon the horse?
Uh-huh.
Dude, you stole my horse?
I walked into town as you did it, and it was like right by where I walked in, and all I heard was the like warping sound. Like, what the
You stole my horse. I'm
Like, I
like,
didn't give her a warp scepter.
I was waiting for Michigan to come out and go, where's the horse at?
No, I can walk to the bar from Emily's.
I was trying to warp, like, I can't wait until I can, like, warp it when he's actually on it or something to watch it come off. I wonder if it'll teleport him with
Do
it.
it. Try and warp it right now. I'm on it.
Oh, okay. Let's see if it takes you with. Cannot
Pretty cool.
summon mounted horse. Dang it.
Yeah, you couldn't even do it, even.
We tried.
Oh, it doesn't work.
Hugs, Cricket,
Alright.
and Link's Pokemon Community Games.
Now it's been moved again.
What was I coming to town for again? Oh, now I remember. I didn't bring. Did I bring anything
You
if I
stole
have any
my
wood
horse,
with? How can I build anything if I don't have any wood? What does
I'm
it
gonna
take
have
to
a-
build things? I don't even know.
A town meeting to say somebody stole my heart.
I'm gonna go talk to people about things and stuff.
I
with
need
her
it to
today.
rain.
I'm pretty sure she's not here though, because it's the day she's not here. Because I want to come talk to her.
Wednesday? No, she should be
Yeah.
there.
Construct farm building. So if we want to
Getting stopped.
get the deluxe farm or coop, it's wood and stone. Okay. Need to bring wood and stone.
Oh. Pet.
You know, this is how the community can share one horse. Everybody just has a whistle. And you just take turns, and if it's being used, it's being used. That's great. You just share one horse. Because technically, usually once you get to your destination, you'll be there for a bit, you know?
Yeah.
That's why they
Mm.
invented keys, so you can throw keys to somebody else.
So we need to get Michigan a whistle so he can share the horse too.
No. It just
You
comes to me when I steal it in the morning.
You mean like right now? Like,
Hey. I'm a stable boy, so
It's in your chest.
I will make sure.
there
it's
you
clean.
go. Now Michigan, now you have one. She helped you out.
Everyone's getting one,
No,
I
whether they're
will.
here or not.
I know, I
I'm
think it'd be
making
so much
sure-
fun. Okay, that's today's surprise. Everybody gets a horse whistle. We get to
I'm
fire
making
the
sure
horse.
I change,
Great, love it.
the colts and making sure the,
And did you
animals
milk the
safe.
cows and all that? Did you pet
Yes,
the cat?
No, I actually
Cat's already pet.
I pet it too because my pet.
I turned on auto pet.
Oh.
I don't know if it- Like auto watering's working, so I assume that's too. Save us some energy.
Let's see.
Do you have horse insurance? Because I can give you.
Nope, you're SOL, my guy.
Did you get your whistle? So you can steal it
Gotta
back.
go into your chest, dude, and get it.
But eventually.
Oh, do it!
Fine, I'll go.
I'm
to my
gonna
room.
try and sit for a little bit. Okay, do you want to join us? Or are you just gonna sit and chill? You're more than welcome to.
Wait a minute. Do I have a chest?
Oh,
it's
it,
Not.
it won't let me.
Hey.
It says I don't own a horse.
Oh,
Is that what it says?
so you don't own a horse? You can't use the whistle?
Uh-huh.
I can't
Apparently.
focus on that. Understandable.
But I have I have it too. And it says to me that I sell horses and I can't do anything else.
That's crazy. Dang, it was worth a try. I see ill. Cough bar. Trash is being
Should've
lovely to
gave-
me.
You should have put beer in my chest.
People throw away the craziest things. Just saying, I had to get my wound repacked and take more pain meds. Oh no.
Hmm.
That That sounds like a process in itself. It does not sound lovely. I bet. Hopefully, you're feeling better though. All of the pain meds are helping. He's gonna be all loopy.
I didn't say he's all loopy. I was chatting with him a little bit earlier.
No, he just took more though. He might be loopy now.
He'll be fine.
Loopy, loopy.
He's a military guy. He'll be fine.
Okay. I have to buy anything.
He'll live through it.
In here. JoJo furniture catalog? They have a furniture catalog? What is even in a JoJo furniture catalog?
Just can I get this done before she passes out? Game. Oh my god.
Huh? Matthew, welcome. For
A sixer.
Okay. Done before she passes out. Game. Oh no. Okay, I bought.
I love that we
one.
still call him sixer.
Yeah, I call him six, no matter, because it's just,
No, it's
I don't
sixer.
know.
You started it. You're the one who called him sixer forever, and now that's what I call him.
Matthew, thank you for the like, man. Welcome to JoJo Mar. How are you doing today? Do you believe we met? I'm Morris, JoJo customer satisfaction representative. When you decide you want to become a JoJo member, I'll be delighted to help you make a transaction and choice experience. No, sorry. Not.
One of these days, we're gonna have to go the evil route.
I know. I'm tempted. That's why I bought the catalog. I'm gonna look at it.
It's not worth it.
It's not worth the furniture catalog. I've never had one.
No, I have it
Okay,
in my thing.
You have one too?
Yeah.
Didn't know.
Yeah. It's all JoJo brand. Literally.
Electric. It's electric. Okay, so we're gonna put this
electric
furniture catalog right here for everybody to experience JoJo. And we're gonna kill this dude who wants to murder me. And then we're gonna look at this thing. By activating this item, the user hereby agrees not to hold JoJo co-responsible for any damages for life or property resulting from the use of JoJo Thrive furniture. What? User is aware that there may be untested plastic materials present in one or more Thrive furniture piece and waives the right to hold JoJo liable for adverse health outcomes. I want to know what pieces of furniture hurt me. So-called shoddy workmanship, and agrees that any and all bodily harm resulting from breakage, cracking, powdering, bending, clamping, pinching, impaling, or any other unintended effect of using JoJo Thrive furniture is solely the result of voluntary user action. Oh my gosh! Hey, we both caught it though.
Thrive.
Yay! It's because Matthew's here. We both caught the Pokemon.
Heck
Join
yeah.
us, Thrive.
But Matthew didn't catch it.
Alright, so everything has a J on it. I do like that there's a blue dresser, though. That's kind of cool. JoJo Cola Ornament. JoJo HQ Painting. Manager of the Year? But in the meantime... Oh, there's a blue lamp! I like the blue lamp.
Like I always tell Kimono, it's
in the
getting
meantime,
late.
I'm being murdered by slimes and just ignoring it.
It's fine, except it's almost 1:30.
Like I always say to Kimono, it's getting late. Yeah.
Getting late? Okay, alright. There's plants in there and stuff that I can get. Slime slowed me down and I couldn't get there. I made it. Alright. Stealing all the blue furniture out of the catalog. I kind of like it, the blue stuff. Ah, that rage emote. It's cute. Cute. Bonk. You knocked it out? Is that how you caught it?
No, he didn't catch it.
Day 11 of summer, year 1. Oh, it was me and you that caught it.
Michigan.
No wonder he's raging. Yep. Here, I'm gonna do my sales pitch just to be sus real quick. Real quick. We're gonna be sus for St. Jude.
Luau.
Sus for St. Jude. If you missed the beginning of stream earlier, we had a slime stream. Oh no, it's already taking over and the Little Mermaid shells are blending away.
Yep.
But yeah, we jokingly we played with slime and we jokingly said that the next $50 dono gets my bathwater slime.
No, it's mine.
So if you want this used slime with glitter and beads and mermaid shells, yeah, there you go. We were being sus for St. Jude earlier. The what slime? Yes, it's mermaid slime, but yeah, bathwater slime. So we're calling because it's infused with KimonoKat DNA now after being all over my hands and face and yeah, we were very sus earlier.
Face and
Yeah, the beginning of stream was quite hilarious. There you go.
It was something.
There we go. Okay, so. Oh yeah. Now that I have blue furniture and have nowhere to put it, I'm lame. One day when I expand my house, I'll have somewhere to put it. Seeds can go over there. Doot. And the copper bar can go in here. And that can go in there. And then food. I'll just hang on to that. But yes, we had fun earlier. If you didn't know. Hold on. I don't like the way this looks right now. It really is. This pull this down so you can see the toolbar, at least. And my big head is like huge. There. Alright, so I left off with going to go expand stuff. Michigan.
Can't do that. It's Luau.
I can't do nothing. Can't do anything. I can't go talk to anybody. What the heck?
And
That's so
Michigan
rude.
done abandoned us.
See that? He's just like standing there, like waiting for the luau or something. He's not taking care of the farm animals.
No, he's over here, like not even existing down below.
I know. He ran away!
Dead. I think it's rude.
Michigan, get back to us! We can't continue on without you. Alright. Let's eggs in here, because we can. I'm sad about not being able to expand my farm building though, because we need goat's milk, duck eggs. Oh, looks like are we still at the first level of these barns?
Hmm?
Are we still at the first level of these barns or the second level? We're at the first level.
I think we're at the first level.
Oh dang, so I was like jumping the gun on which one to jump to.
Damn it.
It probably would have bought like a whole nother barn and I had to figure out where to put it. Your coal trees aren't smoking anymore.
I know.
Just saying.
Michigan, come on! I need to
He's
go to the
pooping.
luau. It's almost not time
He's
to go.
pooping. I give you permission to pause time if you need to.
I can't. I already
You
tried.
can't. Yeah, I can't either. I don't have that thing set up.
I did attempt to pause without permission.
Yeah.
And it was unsuccessful.
No.
It just won't let me.
Okay.
I'm at least
First
waiting
5
down here, so
pieces.
hopefully it doesn't, like, kick me out.
Dun, 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 dun.
But we only have so long that we can go.
Yeah, then it's not gonna let us.
I even had a gold star clam in my pocket to put in the
You got all
thing.
gold star items?
No,
Oh, 'cause
I
we're
just
supposed to
had
have
a gold star clam.
item. Yeah, we're supposed to have gold star food to put in there. Does it matter what I put in there?
I don't think so. As long as it's edible. And it's gold star. Look, you have a gold star carrot.
Put a spice berry.
That's your only one.
I'm putting spice berry. I'm not sure Michigan has anything on him to put in anyway. Michigan! We're running out of time! Maybe we could restart the day if I exit.
Or we could just skip the luau.
Yeah, we can skip the luau if we need to.
I'm still gonna wait down here though. Just in case he shows up in time.
Because the luau is in town, right?
Nope, it's at the beach.
The beach. Dun, 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 dun. Alright, well, I'm headed that way. Headed to the luau as well. I check the trash cans, so while we wait. Get some colas. Michigan's back! Yay!
Freaking time! Get your ass to the beach!
Yay! Hurry, we gotta get to the beach! Run, Michigan, run!
I could steal a horse, I would have been there.
I know, but I stole the horse. Luau day!
Oh!
It only took 2 of us?
No, it didn't take it at all. It
Oh, we
ended.
ran out of time.
Yeah.
Aww. We ran
wasn't
out of
me,
time
it
for
was
the
you guys.
luau.
It's okay, I'll go talk to Sam,
Sad.
because I just watched him go down the way.
Sad. We ran out of time for the luau.
It's okay.
Because Michigan was pooping. Just kidding. I'm terrible. He's gonna smack me. I don't know what he was doing. Michigan, you're not taking up for yourself. You're supposed to say.
Because I was.
Oh, you're supposed to say no, I wasn't.
Yes, I have a butthole.
No, guys don't poop, right? Guys don't poop. You said they poop.
Oh.
Okay, so that's really really. I think I'm just like randomly going around, wishing that I could have did the thing with the stuff today. Let's see. Yeah, barn thingamajigs. Cause you know I'm gonna get there and she's gonna be like, no, that's not what I needed. Do you like spice berry? There you go. You got a spice berry now. Linus like beach shell things? No. Okay. Do you like
The urchin.
coal? He didn't like urchins apparently.
He loves food.
Yeah. I tried giving him an urchin. He was not pleased with that. He was not pleased at all with my selection. I don't think anybody likes this beach stuff, to be honest. I don't know who does. I don't think any of them do. Like, why give us this crap? I guess because they can go to the beach and get it themselves? I don't know. You survive in Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
Your peep's still alive.
Yeah, I'm just 8:10 p.m. You know, I'm reading books to my chickens, and it's all good. I'm telling chickens what came first.
It wasn't them, it's the egg.
No evolution.
Sorry, I said it was the egg.
But something had to go poop out that egg.
Not necessarily.
Came out of a rock. The geode. You processed the geode and it just had an egg inside.
I went to a different science class. One time, a biting game.
A wild Standler appeared. Puppet Standler. Hey, there's carrot seeds. Or summer squash, I should say. Let's see, do I have that one? And so I don't.
I do on Pokemon Go.
Right? Okay, so I have kinds of junk I can sell. Sell.
Tomorrow's just doing all the work.
I am. I'm working my buddy off. Somebody's got to.
Oh, like I did already. That's my go-to.
Miss Lady's asleep in her bed, looking so peaceful.
Yeah.
And we got. And that should be good. Taylor has been called by KimonoKat. Yay! Okay. I know this is probably a short night, but this is probably the last day of Stardew tonight because it's already
It
almost
makes
11
sense,
o'clock,
it makes
believe it or not. I don't even know where the time went. Did we really spend like an hour
Yes.
playing with slime?
Yes, because
Yeah.
I came back at like 7:30, 8 o'clock my time.
It was definitely a very slimy night, yeah.
So we spent like an hour playing.
Like we
Yep.
started having
It was
concerns.
fun.
We called your doctor. It was horrible.
Okay. I do it again. I got another pack.
Whoa, it's dangerous. Can you get that off of her?
Bookseller! Hell yeah! Excuse me while I go buy all the books.
Oh yeah, I forgot we can do that now. So we run out of money. Michigan, go buy books this time before we run out of money.
I literally
You
ran
quit
out.
the game?
I literally.
How
Dude,
dare
I
you?
saw the word book. And I was out. I was like, nope.
No more education. Michigan! Last time we didn't get to buy the book.
I know this thing. That's the issue with this game. Like it doesn't like me.
Oh,
No, I mean you can join back.
No. Not unbelievable. Like I want Avengers movies.
Jeez.
I want the explosions and
Oh, I'm gonna grab my horse then.
No, you're not allowed that. I took it too. Let's go.
No, you didn't take the horse with you.
That'd be funny if just
I have to go see multiple people today, so we're gonna see if we can make it happen.
I'll let you guys do it.
Rude.
I'll be a supporter.
When is everybody coming back to Purple Farm?
Right?
I'm sad. We need our Purple Farmers.
Oh.
Sign our contracts.
Oh,
We don't have Wiggles, we don't have Trents, we don't have... I can't even remember who all our farmhands are. Here it is. Trents, Lemon, Jay, Momo, Michigan.
I always kiss myself. Sorry.
I thought
Yeah.
Wiggles was on this farm.
No, I don't think he is.
I
I
don't
think
know
we had
yet.
talked about it.
Maybe.
I think a purple farm is. It's not as great as the green farm, or what are you guys called? You know, this is the farm where we talk about our feelings.
We definitely need more stone though.
Okay, I'm in the mine.
Okay, we're
Okay.
talking about getting
So
stone.
we're gonna
Okay,
need
cool.
all the stone to do the things. What do you use a telephone for in the game? Store hours
You
in
can call the
inventory?
stores. Yeah.
Weird.
Oh yeah. Oh, never mind. I need it to rain. Never mind.
Get it
That's
right.
fine.
Okay.
For the... I can wait.
I don't know if I put a
Sam and I
calendar in
can
my house yet
develop
or not. I probably did. Alright, I'm buying a telephone just because I want to play with it. You know what? Can you construct more than one farm at a time? No, she can let you select it. Just like line them all up to be built at one time. Need this, and this, and that, and this. Okay, you got it? She said, no, I can't do that. Randor, welcome. Rando Rave, welcome, 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 welcome. Hope you're doing awesome. It's good to see you again, man. Hope life is treating you well. Oh, bookseller. Bookseller. Go buy some books.
I already
Where's
bought
that
them all.
again? North?
Above JoJo.
I think it lets everybody buy them equally.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it matters. Buy books. Ooh, woodcutter. Combat.
But you can buy multiple of the price catalogs, so make sure you buy that one last.
Way of the Wind. Way of the Wind Part 2. Horse, the book. Oil slithering. Can I only buy that one? Read it again. Okay.
Oh,
Gotta read this again to make ordering practice catalog. We only bought that. Yeah, I don't have to buy that again. I'm pretty sure I bought that before.
yeah. If it's got the little like thumbs up, you've read it.
But you can buy it again and read it again, right? To get a little bit more.
Yeah.
Looks like. All right, we're gonna do some reading, some education hour. It's good to see you too. You got some learning to do. We're learning all the things today. Oh, definitely need to help my fishing skills. I need like 500 fishing books. Because my fishing skills are terrible. And non-existent.
Yep.
There we
Do
go.
be the truth.
5 books. Okay, that's it. That's it for today. Alright, off to Marnie. I need to have a conversation with her about these shorts. She's gonna let me in the room eventually. Be honest, what combination of 2 foods do you think would make an awesome recipe? Combination of 2 foods?
Mac and cheese and hot dogs.
I mean,
Hell yeah.
steak,
Oh, sorry.
steak and shrimp. I mean.
Bread and sauce.
I got called digging in the
Yeah.
trash.
My
Okay.
boyfriend caught you.
Yeah, maybe that's what I got for it.
Whoa.
Thanks, I really like this. I'll
Well,
make
that's-
up for it.
Oh, was it the JoJo?
Yep. I had a cola
Yeah.
on me, so I gave it to him.
I never got caught yet going through the trash. I'm just saying.
Okay. I'm here to give you a gift because I need those purple shorts. I'm pretty sure we're not good enough friends yet, but I wanted to try.
When did
And
life
purchase
work this
animals.
way?
I
Like,
can't
here,
purchase
here's a
any
beer.
animals
Here's a beer.
soon. Do we not be able to purchase animals? Shop supplies. Do we need more hay? No, not really. Speaking of two foods, have you ever tried vanilla ice cream with peas? No. That sounds really odd. Is it good? I mean, I love. Here's the thing I really like with vanilla ice cream: peach soda. Peace. Yeah, peach and peach soda's way different. But yeah, peach soda sounds good. That'd be like a float. Yeah, I like that idea. Sounds really good. My favorite thing with vanilla ice cream, though, that I always forget exists and is a thing, is just take like a big giant spoonful of peanut butter and mix it into the vanilla ice cream. It is so amazing, and I forget that that's a thing.
Is this before a workout or?
Yeah, right? I mean, you're getting extra protein that way.
Yeah, I want to
But
work
yeah,
out now.
take a
Jeez.
spoonful of peanut butter. If you just got plain vanilla ice cream and you're like, meh, not feeling it, add some peanut butter to it, and oh my god, it's the bomb. And I mean, of course, if you had like chocolate chips or something, you could throw that in there too. But
I'm not much of a sugar person anymore. I'm weird.
that's not bad. It's a healthy way to be, honestly.
Yeah, well,
I wish I
trust
didn't
me, I
have a
do.
crazy sugar addiction.
My dad has a huge sugar, addiction, but me, I don't know. I just don't have sugar.
I think it's a gift not to have that addiction, honestly, and I don't know
Well,
how.
I don't have
not have
allergies.
it.
I'm not addicted. No, I'm addicted to some things, but but I don't have. I don't
My
have
brother
allergies.
doesn't like a lot of sugar. He just doesn't really eat it, and I'm just like,
No, it's like
you were
I
so
don't see the
lucky.
value. I don't see the nutrients in it. Like I guess it's just my brain.
I mean, it doesn't have any value.
It just makes you happy when you're depressed. I don't know.
We can put a cap on the horse. Pink cap with slick profile. Put it on the horse. Yes! My horse has a cute pink cap now because we found it.
Hell yeah.
Look at that! Oh my gosh, happy Friday! We are playing in the Stardew area for Stardew tonight. How are you? We're about done though. This is our last day.
Right. Yeah.
And then,
I'm just
then we
here
can like
for...
join a general channel with everybody.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm here for support.
Yeah, you were playing and then you backed out. Prehistoric.
I just brought the shit
And
out of everything in the
Hunter can tell me about it.
traveling cart.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm gonna go to the mouse hat. What?
Oh yeah, I forgot. That's the thing.
The hat mouse.
The
Oh
mouse
my
hat.
god.
Mouse hat instead of hat. Mouse thing. I heard that. And we're gonna leave 2 of those here and 2 of those here. And we're just gonna leave like 2 of each thing in here for her. How many things of spaghetti does she have? I don't even know. Oh, I bet she bought them for mining.
Oh, Skitty, I want some. Sorry.
I bet she bought them for mining. But Wales, I hope you're doing awesome.
One thing he is awesome.
I hope you're having a good day. Let's see.
Where's the cat?
Right here sleeping by the thing. You put a hat on the cat? Don't tell me you can put a hat on the cat. Oh, you put a bow on the cat? That's so cute. Oh my god, we match! Look!
I didn't even intend that.
We match. My kitty cat and I match. Look at that, that's so cute. I want to zoom in on that. I don't even know. Let's see. Fix my
That was
thingamajigs.
not my intention at all.
I know, I'm so excited. I'm going to take a screenshot after I zoom in. Zoom. Okay, now I gotta, like, find things and stuff to take a screenshot with. I can keep the slimes off me.
It's okay, I'm saving you.
Oh, I should have turned my horse around so we could see its hat. You want to turn the horse around? And then you can come stand near us too. There you go. You can stand on the horse. There you go. Come back.
Yeah.
There you go. You can stay on the horse and I'll take a photo. Oh, the other way, though. Sideways so we can see the side profile of the horse. Yeah. Why is this not working? Okay. Okay. There you go. Perfect, right there.
There we go.
Except for it's got the Z's. There we go. Stop Zing! There we go. I love it. It's so cute. Alright. I'm saving that one and I'll put it in. Oh no! I messed it up. I clicked new. Go back. I totally messed it up. I'm terrible. There we go.
At least
I
it's
did
easy to
hit-
get on the horse.
I didn't hit save as. There we go. Files. Save as. Desktop. There we go. And let me see if it'll just let me copy and put it in Discord and all. We're gonna put it in the all PC games channel for people to see. Paste. There he goes. It's so heavy. I might post that later.
Okay.
I like it. Okay, now I can move. It's getting late. I know,
Well-
I know.
Well, anyways, I'm passed out on the ground. Can you guys pick me up or?
Alright. You passed out again.
Put me in my own bed. I'm not going over here.
Please select a number. Who are we calling this late at night? Let's do it. We're gonna call Glenn.
Damn.
It's dialing.
You're
Can you hear
no,
it?
wait a minute. You're
Hey, this
super
is Clint.
drunk.
I'm taking the day off today. Beep. I'm prank calling.
So rude. So rude.
Everybody, let's hang up. I'm sorry. Pierre?
Well, I'm at Emily's house, so that's where I am.
Thank you for calling Pierre's General Store. We're closed at the moment, but our hours are 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. So you can soon beep. Michigan. Ships with Michigan.
Hell yeah.
Oh, we can catch a Pokemon, guys. Hang
I'm
up.
gonna pick
Alright.
Alright.
Oh, I'm gonna pass out using the phone prank calling people.
Mhm.
I'm just like. That's it, guys!
Hey, level 6 farming, level 6
Warrioring,
combat.
level 4. Level 2 fishing! Yes! I can now
Yay!
make bait! It's
Fun
because I got that
reading.
book. It's because of the
I'm a
book.
level 6 drunk? What the
Fun
hell?
reading.
I'm kidding.
Let's see. It's because of the book I was able to do that.
I blame Wiggles.
You play Wiggles? Mm-hmm.
Can I go get my thing from the guy before I forget?
Yeah. Run away. Go get your thing. What thing are you gonna get? Everyone does.
I gotta go get my
No, we
mermaid
don't
pendant.
forget. We don't forget you. See?
It's like it's raining. It's finally raining. Like I need the rain.
And then I'll take some wood back out just because I need to keep wood on me at all times and coffee to give people.
Well, I'm gonna join
There we go.
voice chat, guys. You know, once
Okay.
you're done
Okay.
reading your thing.
Alright, go for it. Go say hi to Wiggles.
Yeah, I gotta dock Sam real quick so I can give this to him and then we can go to sleep and save.
Who's calling who?
Oh, is your phone ringing?
I guess.
Yeah, answer. Yeah, answer.
You hear a squeaky voice on the other end.
What's the news?
Heyo, Poke. Me sell good hats. Please come in. Bring coins, Poke. Me like coins. Click. Phone call from
Yeah, you
them.
can give phone call from anyone.
that's so cool.
Alright. Time
I wanna
to
move
move
this where I
quicker
can
so
see
I
it,
can
but-
ask Sam to get married.
Okay, we're gonna put it right here so I can see it. There. I'll see it when it rings. My girlfriend can answer the phone. My cactus girlfriend. I moved her out of the way so the cat can get to the
Oh
cat
yeah.
tower.
There you go.
I might put the cat
Um,
tower back here. I've never seen my cat on the cat tower, to be fair, so
I don't think it ever gets on the cat tower.
lame.
Come on,
Just
come
move
on.
it. Just about like a cat. You buy them a toy and they just use the box
Sam,
instead.
get your ass out of bed. We're getting married in 3 days.
And got engaged to Sam.
Okay. I'm getting married in 3 days.
Alright. I gotta empty my dresser for reasons. And then over here. Get the blue and the blue lamp. Blue dress. Yay! Then I can put all the clothes back. I don't think I have room in this house for a blue lamp. My house is a little crowded.
I'm like crowded.
Yeah. There we go. Put it right there. We can still reach the TV. Da-da-da. There we go. Perfect.
I need.
Oh, I need to move that.
The skirt to go with it. The fuck? The skirt. I'm at.
Alright, I spent the whole day just in my house. Sounds about right, right? Oh, and this zoom has gotta go. Zoom it back out! There. That's a bit far, though. I like to see a little bit up close, because I feel like
Okay, there we go. And now I got my
Sorry
little
for
wedding outfit
stream.
for next time.
oh, you got your little what? So cute! She's gonna get married in the morning.
Well, not in the morning, but in a
Like 3 days.
couple days, and I'll forget.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna.
She's
I'm
gonna wear
answering
her
my
wedding
phone.
dress for 3 days. She's so excited.
Yeah,
Hey, look, our little mushroom locks working.
I'll forget. But we both know I'll completely forget in 2 weeks.
Yep. Now my horse needs a little green bow, just like me. We'll just all have a little green bow. We all went to bed at 1 o'clock because we're so tired.
No, I just wanted to. Damn.
It's the last time we get to sleep together before you get married. Just
No, we still have a couple more endgame days. Fine.
Oh,
And we'll still sleep together.
I know. He won't mind. He'll join us. Let's see. I'm gonna actually leave that up here.
Do it.
Alright. You ready?
I don't know why you do.
Are we exiting?
Yeah, I already quit.
Alright. Go this baby! Yay! We made it through another day of Stardew on our purple 1.6 plus hacks farm. Oh, But thank you guys for hanging out tonight. I appreciate you all. Next stream will be what's today? Sunday, and we will be on the girls. Is it Girls Stardew Farm, or is it Art Night?
Sunday?
I don't even know.
Uh,
I don't even know. I gotta look at my own schedule. I don't even know.
I have to scroll up your
Oh.
schedule.
I'll be doing something Sunday. I did pin it. Let me look. Oh, it's supposed to be art.
It's art.
Mm.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, we'll see. If the girls really want to play, we'll play. If not, we'll do art. So, we'll see. But yeah. Cancel. I almost unpinned my schedule thingy. And then the following Friday will be a birthday stream, so I look forward to seeing you guys there. So, and it'll also be the last day of the St. Jude fundraiser. So, wish me luck on making my goal, and I will see you guys next stream. Say good night, Rain.
Bye.
Yeah, I hit all the buttons. I can find them. Good night, everyone.
Kimono 1 nom, Kimono 1 nom.
How can I stream when you do that? Thank you, Jeff. Thank you so much. Thank you for the 24 months. Holy no, 68 months. Currently on a 24-month streak. 68 months. Thank you so much, Jeff. It's good to see you. I will catch you next time. Good night, Jeff. Bye-bye.